Welcome to Government Speak. This is where we'll cut through the government speak to get the information you need about county programs, services, and events straight from the source. Welcome to Government Speak, Contra Costa County's official podcast. I'm your host, Kristi Jourdan, Contra Costa County's Public Information Officer. And on this episode, we have Kristian Lucas, who is our Environmental Health Director, joining us in studio at 10 Douglas. Kristian, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So for those who might not be familiar, what is environmental health? What is a typical day like? How does it impact the lives of residents we serve in our community?
Yeah, environmental health is a very large and broad discipline. I think what people most associate with environmental health is the word environment. So they're thinking of the natural environment, things like noise pollution, air pollution, soil pollution. But we actually delve into a lot in our built environment, too. These would be things like regulating restaurants and regulating pools, body art facilities, people who make and need to dispose of medical waste. There's just a wide variety of things that environmental health encompasses. And it's very broad and much broader than people would normally think.
So that impacts a lot of, someone's life. You could go to a restaurant and then afterwards go get a tattoo, and, environmental health has touched those. So let's focus on one area of environmental health that you had mentioned, which was restaurant inspections and health grades. Are there common misconceptions about that work, or what is something that you would want people to know about restaurant inspections?
Yeah, our restaurant inspections cover a wide variety of topics. We're essentially regulating things that are important to keep people healthy when they're consuming the food that they're going out to eat, whether it's a prepackaged item at a local convenience store or some prepared food that they're getting from a restaurant. I think one of the common misconceptions is when people see our letter grade on the window of the store, that is essentially what, when they're walking into there, what they should expect when they're purchasing a meal or a food item to consume. In reality, these are snapshots in time from the last time when our staff were out there. Now, being that a lot of the things that we regulate are related to adult learned behaviors, and generally adult learned behaviors that are not the kind that we would like people to have learned, they take a while to correct. And even when we're not there, they're generally still happening. So I think that our letter grades are a good representation of the last time that we were there, and generally will carry through because people are generally on their best behavior when we are there, and we still find things. So I think they're overall a good indication of how you can expect to receive food and whether or not that food is healthy for you to consume.
Are you announcing those inspections, or are those kind of surprise visits, or is there a combination of both?
All of our inspections are unannounced at these food establishments, and we do that for a variety of reasons. But number one, we want to actually look at what is going on in the restaurant at any given time. So that way, that letter grade that we're posting on the window is an accurate representation of what you can expect when you go to frequent that establishment.
Let's talk through, environmental health has elements of public health to it. You're focusing on the safety and the well-being of people in our community as it relates to the consumption of a product or the exposure to a product. Can you walk us through how you respond to a complaint or a concern? Like, how do those come in, or how do people report when they have concerns?
Sure. Our office receives concerns every day of the week, numerous times a day, and they come in a variety of ways. They can come in by somebody walking into our lobby and telling us verbally. They can come in over the phone through our main office line. They can come in via email, or we actually have a web portal on our website. Sometimes they come in through PIO, just like yourself, or through our internal PIO within Contra Costa Health. But either way, those get directed to us. And I think one of the things that's important for people to understand when they do make a complaint to environmental health is that our staff treats every complaint as confidential. So any information that you're giving us, whether it's your personal name, phone number, address, we don't share that with the regulated community when we're going out to investigate a complaint. We keep that confidential. And we generally want that information so that we can reach out to the individual that is complaining to ensure that we have all the necessary information we need when we go out to make that investigation. We try to be objective when we're going out to do an investigation, but we want all of the information necessary in order for us to conduct a full and complete investigation before we end up going out. So that's why we generally ask for that type of information, but we keep all of that stuff confidential. I think that's something that people don't oftentimes realize when they're making a concern to our office or through the PIO, that when we go to investigate, we're keeping all that stuff close and we're not sharing that with the folks that might be being complained about.
So that way you don't have to worry about any potential retaliation, or folks can feel safe making that that complaint. So here at the Office of Communications and Media, we're often the first point of contact that people in the community have because they're trying to navigate off the website, or, they find our phone number in some way, and then they're calling to figure out, how do I get to a certain program area or event, or try to track down information. And one of the questions that I get pretty frequently is about the cottage food licensing program. Can you talk a little bit about that and kind of what the process might be for anyone who's interested in pursuing that?
Sure. Cottage foods started a number of years ago, and the way that it was created by the state legislature was limiting somebody in their home kitchen with relatively little capital investment to start making baked goods. And those can be sold in a variety of locations, whether at a certified farmer's market in our local community, at a temporary food event, and sometimes even your local retail market or grocery store. One of the newer home kitchen options that's available was just recently passed by our Board of Supervisors last year, was the creation of a pilot program for what's called a micro enterprise home kitchen operation. I know it's a mouthful. We've abbreviated that, as we like to do in this field, as a MICO. And essentially what that is similar to a cottage food operation, and then it allows a homeowner or a small business entrepreneur to use their home kitchen. But instead of just making baked goods, when you apply and are permitted as a MICO, you can actually make really any foods. There are some caveats. Those foods have to be served that day. They can't be stored on site and then served on another day like you could in a restaurant. Milk products, dairy products, whether frozen or unfrozen, those are a no-no. And there are some limitations on, the amount of food that you can produce in a day and the amount of gross revenue that you can make in a given year. But other than that, the restrictions are relatively light. We do go in and do inspections of these facilities just like we do any restaurant, although we have made, accommodations because these are home kitchens and not commercial kitchens. So they are regulated by us. They are inspected by us. So you can be relatively assured that the food that you're eating is going to be safe for you to consume. However, they're seen as more of a stepping stone, whether it's a cottage food or a MICO, or I'll refer to them as a home kitchen, any home kitchen, as sort of a stepping stone to either sort of the next tier. If you think of this as sort of a tiered structure, these are our lowest cost permits. And they're really creating a nice foundation and a stepping stone into something like a mobile food facility or a food truck, or even a brick and mortar food establishment as a business tends to grow. And there's more capital behind that, and they can move into a bigger space. So it's a really interesting and really exciting program for us because it's really allowing folks to do more and more stuff inside their home, which, if I hadn't mentioned before, previous to cottage food introduction, was actually prohibited. You could only make or sell food from a commercial establishment to the public. Now you can actually do that in your home and start off, relatively easily and with little capital investment.
So it's really about scaling and making sure that we're offering an array of options for people who might be interested in selling food and opening their own kitchen or opening their own business.
Absolutely.
One of the other questions I had was around the permit holders. So we talked about some of the, the unannounced inspections and what you're looking for during those inspections. What are some of the common reasons why permit holders get shut down? And how do you work with those folks to make sure that whatever is contributing to their inability to provide a service safely, that they learn from it and can fix the issue?
Sure. I would say probably two of the most common reasons we're closing a business down, any type of food business for that matter, would be either a lack of water. So as you can imagine, in order to properly wash your hands, wash produce, wash your dishes, you need potable running water in order to do so. And the other thing would be rodents, whether it's mice, rats, cockroaches, just some sort of vermin infestation into the facility. I'm sure we can all appreciate that we don't want cockroaches or rats running across a prep table where our meal is going to be prepared and then served to us. And so these are some of the things that we normally find when we're shutting a restaurant down. And what we do is we try to work with the operator as much as we can. If it's a situation where there is no water that's present in a facility, we usually let them know that right away. We'll close the operation down from serving any new food while we're there. And if they can get a plumber on site, we're more than happy to try to accommodate them, provided that it doesn't take us too long and take us away from doing the other things that we need to do in any one of our given days. For the vermin infestation, we usually request that they get a licensed pest control company to go and exterminate the facility, and then provide us with proof that that's been done. And then we'll usually, in any case, do a follow-up to make sure that whatever it is that we are citing that's causing a restaurant to be closed down has been fixed before we allow that operation to resume. And again, we're looking at making sure that that folks that are frequenting that particular establishment can do so safely and can be relatively confident that what it is that they're going to be getting, that product that they're going to be purchasing, is safe to consume.
So one of the other questions we field through our office occasionally is the parent who asks if permitting is needed for a driveway lemonade stand. Can you talk about that and let folks know what the process would be if they needed to get a permit for that?
Sure. I think what we do in environmental health and what many regulatory agencies have to juggle is the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. The letter of the law says you have to have a permit anytime you're selling or giving away food to the public. Now, one of the things that we do in environmental health and what's done generally across the state of California is we generally look at risk, right? What is the riskiness of a certain food that's being sold and prepared or given away to the public? And when we're looking at something like a lemonade stand, you're looking at an acidic beverage, doesn't take a lot of food preparation. We generally classify that as a very low risk. And so that's not necessarily something that we are going out and wanting to end up on our local news, busting a lemonade stand in somebody's driveway. Because again, the risk to the public is relatively low. You could say the same thing about Girl Scout cookies, which is a common question that we get in our office whenever that time is coming around. And I think we might be around that time right now. And really what it's about is risk. Whenever we're looking at a prepackaged food or an acidic beverage that doesn't have a ton of bacterial growth or the potential for bacterial growth, that's something that we tend to not focus on as heavily.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely.
Generally, how can residents stay informed? What are some good communication tools or information avenues that are coming out of environmental health that people could focus on?
Sure. I think probably the best way is we have recently redesigned our website, and there's a wealth of information. We've tried to make it easier for people to navigate. Another way is through any of the Contra Costa Health social media channels, or even your local newscast. I found myself on a local newscast on occasion whenever there's something going on, trying to disseminate information to the public in a way that is easy to understand. I think for a lot of people, there's so much information coming at them that it's tough to sort of decipher, what is accurate and what is not accurate. I think all the information that we try to put out at the health department or Contra Costa Health is something that folks can look at as a source of truth. So whether you're getting that from our website, one of our social media channels, or even calling our office or coming into our office, we're more than happy to get that information to anyone that needs it.
Are there any tools or resources that you wish people knew more about as it relates to the work with environmental health?
Yeah, like I said, one of the common misconceptions is that folks see the word environmental and they automatically think that everything that we're doing is out in the environment. And while that's partially true, there's a lot of other things that we do. And I think a lot of the work that our staff does goes unseen quite often. And if we're doing our job correctly, then you're not seeing us in the news, or you're not seeing what's actually going on behind the scenes. But our staff are out there performing upwards of 15,000 inspections per year, making sure that everything from your local restaurant to your local pool is safe, so you're not going to contract a waterborne or foodborne illness. Things like making sure that the waste that you throw in your garbage can is getting safely deposited to where it needs to be, all the way to making sure that you're not going to contract some form of hepatitis when you're getting a tattoo. There's just a wide variety of things that we cover that I think oftentimes go unnoticed. But some of the things that folks can do themselves to make things as safe as possible, whether they're at home or even out and about, are just some of the same things that we've been told ever since we were young. Washing your hands, making sure that you are closing the lid on your trash can when you put it out on the curb every day. These are going to prevent things. These are going to be a way that folks can make a huge effort in their local communities and in their local lives, keeping themselves safe and keeping those around them and the environment safe as well.
So let's talk about you and your background. Did you wake up one day and say, I want to be an environmental health director? What was the path for you to get to this destination? It
was a bit of a roundabout path, I would say. Started in college, science major. I wanted to be a doctor. Fortunately for me now, I get to work with a lot of physicians in the work that I do, but public health was never something that was really on my radar until I ended up taking a class in college that, really talked about, how not just your own physician or your own doctor can make an impact in your overall life, but how many people that are doing many different things, from environmental health to occupational health and safety, that are impacting your everyday life in ways that you don't even know. And that was something that just opened my eyes to this whole world. And when I got out, I started looking for jobs in the field, and I ended up finding one. And started in San Joaquin County and then migrated over here to Contra Costa County. And I've been here ever since, worked my way up from a trainee in this field all the way up to the position that I'm in now. And I feel very fortunate to have done that. And it's a fantastic field. And it allows folks that really want to help people to be able to do that and affect not just a single life, even though we do that every single day, but multiple lives and the health and safety of everyone in a particular community.
It's preventative, it's educational. It's public health. It's a really great journey to be on if you're in the science field. So we talked about lemonade stands and Girl Scout cookies, and then in the next breath we talked about tattoo shops and spas. Yes. If there's one takeaway from today's discussion, what would you want people to remember the most?
I think it would probably be that there are a lot of folks, whether you want to call them unsung heroes or not. I know heroes is not a word that we throw around lightly, but that there are a lot of folks out there that, whether you're in this county or in one of our neighboring jurisdictions, they're out there really regulating certain things and enforcing certain laws to make sure that our everyday lives are able to continue in the ways in which we've all grown accustomed to. And a lot of that work goes unnoticed, and that's okay. But I do think it's important for folks to just recognize that when they're going to eat at their local restaurant, or whether they're going to their local retail market, maybe even the corner store, that tattoo shop that we talked about, or even installing a septic system into the ground, that there are people that are making sure that all of that is being done appropriately and properly, so that we can protect those natural resources that we have, and also our own bodies when we're going and participating in any of these endeavors that we wish to do.
Well, thank you so much to you and your team for the work that you do every day. That's it for today's show. I'm your host, Kristi Jourdan, Contra Costa County's Public Information Officer. Thanks for joining us on the Government Speak podcast, brought to you by the Office of Communications and Media. But don't just take our word for it. Stay curious, stay connected, and stay informed. Until next time, keep your mind open and your facts straight.